We're taught to be nice to others. Well, that can lead us to being taken advantage of in the workplace. So as women in STEM, it's important to set boundaries. While being nice is great, what's more important is to be polite and professional. That means having boundaries. Let's talk about it. Hi, it's Carol Doherty. Welcome back to my channel. Today I want to share 4 key boundaries that I believe all women have to set when at work, particularly if you're in a STEM field, because women are the minority. And so to make sure that we can be successful and we can be seen for what we bring to the table, we have to set some boundaries. Now, we've all been told probably growing up, you should be nice to others, you should be kind, you should be polite. Being nice often leads to becoming a people pleaser. And too many of my clients are people pleasers. Some are self-confessed people pleasers. They want to make sure everybody's happy. You know what? We're in tough jobs. We have to make hard decisions. So that means not everybody's going to be happy. That's kind of the way it goes at work. So we need to stop pleasing everyone. Let's be kind, which means doing what's right. Let's be polite, which means doing it with some empathy and being kind when we're making those hard decisions or we're giving critical feedback. That's okay. Being professional means we're focused on what are the results, what do we need to do to get the job done while treating other people respectfully. That doesn't seem like that big of a deal, but it is really hard. If you want to be more successful, you have to get assertive about being professional and being polite. To do that means setting some boundaries. Here are the 4 boundaries I think are most critical for women in STEM. First, avoid becoming the go-to person for all the little tasks in your workplace, particularly those that aren't your job. Don't become the person who fixes the copy machine or makes the coffee or orders lunch for everybody or sets up all the events. That can be great to help out occasionally, but if you become the go-to person, that's taking your time and your energy doing things that aren't your job. You are hired to be whatever it is. I was hired to be an engineer. It wasn't my job to take care of making coffee or cleaning the break room or whatever. I was there to do my engineering duties. And the more time I spent doing other stuff, the less time I had to do the things I needed to do. So pay attention to that. The second boundary is speaking up for yourself. That means having those difficult conversations around people's treatment of you and their performance. You have to be willing to give difficult feedback. You have to be willing to have a conversation that might upset somebody, that might make somebody uncomfortable. That's a boundary you have to make for yourself, that you are free and allowed and permitted to speak your mind when it needs to be spoken. That's okay. People might not like what you're saying, but if you're polite and professional, they're going to listen. You have to be able to speak your mind. So create a boundary that you will speak up when needed. Third, set work hours that work for you. I know when I was in one of my positions, my predecessor worked 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. and he was in on Saturdays and often on Sundays. Now, his kids were older and that was great. I had young kids who were active. I wasn't going to work those kind of hours. I had kids who had to be picked up from daycare by 6 p.m. So I couldn't work all hours. And during a little bit of that job, I was finishing up my MBA in night school. I couldn't do it, and I wouldn't do it. So when I started that role, I was there 7:30 to around 5. A little bit longer than 7:30 to 4 like I was supposed to be, but the job I was learning, it was new, there was a lot going on, and I could do 7:30 to about 5. And I didn't work weekends. I would come in roughly one Sunday a month for a few hours to do a monthly report. That was it. I didn't answer emails at home, and I told my boss up front, here's the hours I'm going to work and here's why. And he wasn't comfortable with it. My boss worked too many hours, but I said, I have a young family. I will do what I need to do. These are the hours I'm going to be, so don't expect me to be answering emails late. And if I did have to go in or I did stay late or whatever, and my boss was sending out emails, I did not answer them. I protected that time. My boss respected it. I ended up getting promoted quicker than I should have because I got my job done in the hours that I said I would work, and I did it well. So they couldn't argue that I wasn't doing enough, even though other people around me worked a lot more hours. I did what I needed to do for me and the job. Work the hours that work for your job and for you. And be open about it. Be clear. It's okay. And then the last one, require others to treat you with respect. If somebody starts demeaning you, dismissing you, being rude, disrespectful, whatever it is, deal with it. Require respect. I have had multiple conversations with people about them yelling at me because they didn't like what I was telling them. One was somebody who was higher than me in the food chain, and he's yelling at me over the phone, and I'm like, George, you keep yelling, I'm hanging up. And he's like, you wouldn't do that? I'm like, how long have you known me? And he stopped and he thought about how long he'd known me and knew, yeah, I probably would hang up. So he calmed down, and then we talked through the issue. He didn't like what I was telling him. I couldn't change it. And yelling at me wasn't going to solve anything, wasn't going to change reality. So stop yelling and let's discuss it. I pushed back on other people for yelling at me. One was a QC manager that I shared an office with. He was 6'5", 315. I am 5'4". And he liked to bully people, and he would yell. And I pushed back on him. I didn't tolerate being bullied. And so he actually ended up stop pushing me because I pushed back and I wouldn't accept it. So require people to treat you with respect. If somebody is being rude and talking to you in a way that is disrespectful, it's okay to say, stop. As long as you're talking that way, we're not going to have this conversation. Require people to treat you with respect. So, if you are a woman in STEM, in the workplace, set boundaries around how you expect to be treated, what you require from others. So make sure that you avoid becoming the go-to person for all the mundane things that aren't your job. Be willing to speak up for what you know is right and for yourself. Set work hours that work for you and your job. And require people to treat you with respect. You do those 4 things and you'll be amazed at how successful you can be without being put down, pushed down, or treated as a second-class citizen. It can make a big difference. So as a woman in STEM, make sure you're setting the boundaries that set you up for success. If you found this helpful, please comment, like, share, and subscribe down below. You can follow me on Instagram at Carol S. Doherty for more tips on how to thrive as a woman in STEM and build the career that you've always dreamed of. Have a great day.